Hi everyone. I've been asking myself the question in the last few days, what is it really going to take for people to get what human design really is and really offers, what it's really about? Now, I'm not coming from the point of view of, oh, all the people out there don't get it. There are many, many people out there who've never heard of it or maybe have heard of it and gone, yeah, whatever. But I'm also talking about the people in human design to really understand what its potential is. And I'm not looking down on those people either. You know, when I look at Ra, a brilliant, brilliant man with incredible insight and an incredibly clear message, who did an awesome job in getting the information of human design out there in the world with great clarity and immense insight. Absolutely. And reached many, many, many people. He was truly a clarion, as part of his design said he was. And yet I'm feeling the need in me, being someone to whom consciousness is really important, to go, okay, human design needs to grow and expand and reach out to many more people. And it needs to be presented even within the people who know of human design in a way that has more clarity, is easier for people to understand, without in any way diluting or dumbing down the incredibly powerful message that human design gives. So I've been sitting with this over quite a period of time now, and I thought I'm just going to record some basic insights and ideas that I've had about how that can happen, how human design can really reach out. And people who may have dismissed it previously, or people who don't know anything about it, people who might not be considered in the client profile of whatever people think human design is for, those sort of people can go, okay, well, at least I know what it's about, whether they decide to get involved or not, or to use it in their life or not. And the first thing I came back to was this thing that a man many, many years ago gave me in Brisbane, Australia, a man called Denny Johnson. And I went to see him for a consultation one day. And one of the first things he ever said to me, which I never forgot and has become like my anthem, is the advanced work in anything is the basics done really well. Now, the reason he said that to me is I just explained to him my background, which includes being raised in Australia, going to top, what most people would think of as private schools or schools that aren't in the state or the government system, top schools, learning science, because that's what a boy my age was supposed to do, really going into science and maths and physics, chemistry, all that sort of stuff. And then coming out of there doing 4 years at university, getting an honours degree in geology and geophysics, again science, working in research laboratories, and then going at the beginning of, you might say, or in the midst of the hippie movement, going and being involved with meditation for 7 years in depth, looking at a whole variety of alternative sciences, still interested in sciences, and and working in business, applying all this to business, using my science, my research, multi-level marketing, all sorts of practical business stuff. And then out of the blue, discovering numerology and reinventing the whole field. And reinventing numerology by going right back to the basics and redefining them and making it clear so that anybody in the practical world could come to terms with it, could understand it. Because I thought it was great, but it was so fluffy and lost in jargon. And so what I did is I re-explained what numerology was about to myself, to my own satisfaction, so that it made sense to someone with a science background, with a business background, with a practical background. And then started sharing that with my clients because I became a consultant in it extremely quickly. Basically self-taught, reinvented it, boom, got out there. And it made sense to them. And then many other things that I've done in my life between then and now, always weaving cutting edge science, mathematics, business with cutting edge alternative information as it came out over the decades from the 60s right through till now. That's the 1960s for those of you who are young. And, just weaving it together, so that it made sense in the real world to me. And I could apply it in my practical life. And then it makes sense in the real world to the people I consult, work with, am in relationship with, whatever. And I see human design is in that stage where it has been brought to everybody's attention, fundamentally due to Ra's work, with a lot of help from a lot of other people. It's been brought out there. But it's still limited to his perspective, which is one person. Very few people have added anything to it. There's a few here and there, and it's mainly people out there experiencing it, committing it, who are drawn to it, the early adopters, you can call them, going in there, working it, proving that it works in their own lives. And now people are taking it and applying it to business, and taking it and applying it to relationships, and which is what happens with every new alternative thing. Even I've meditated for over 40 years. And my teacher was originally born in India, came to the US, and what I've seen over his life, he's into his late 50s now, is how people took it, thought they had understood it, tried to explain it, tried to fit it into a Western style, an Eastern style, or this style, or that style, and that style, and he just went on with his message. And now does wonderful things around the world, quietly but profoundly. And I've seen how so many other organisations like that get caught up in the whole thing, and often in the jargon, in the explanations, and that lose the fundamental message. Same thing I saw happen with numerology. Same thing I've seen happen with astrology. They had the Enneagram, in a sense, as everyone's trying to make it into a personality profile. It's not. It's about what drives your personality. Profound information. And I've spent 8 years living my design, working with it, consulting it, really experiencing it. And I can see that it's got so much to offer. But the jargon and, the particular personality of the person who put it out there, and the various inclinations of the people who take it on and then try and make it fit something or whatever, how it seems to sort of lose the message. And I'm very aware that I could easily do that myself. And of course I will give it my flavour. And I'm not doing this just to give you my flavour instead of Ra or anything like that. I'm in a sense sharing this so that you get what human design is, and you realise it has to be flavoured with your input without losing the essence. So what is that essence? What is the essence of human design? Look at the name. Just start with the name. Human. It's about human beings. You're a human being listening to this. It's about you. Design. How you are designed as a human being to operate in this physical world. It's design. It's not how you operate in the wild world of imagination or in the incredible worlds of spiritual other dimensions. It can definitely throw some light on that type of thing, but more in the sense of how do you bring it down to earth rather than getting out there. Human design is about how you as a human being have been designed to function in this world. And your form, whenever you have energy, it functions in a particular way. Each energy functions in a particular way, and the way it functions determines the form that it takes in the physical world. So human design, you've been designed as a human being. You're a human being, you function as a human being, and you have a particular design, a form. Not just a physical body, but a wiring, a format that allows you to operate in an incredibly unique way as a person. And every single one of us, you, me, us, every single one of us has a unique design and a unique expression within being designed as a human being. And that's what the human design chart shows you, how you're designed to operate as a human being in the physical world, in this time-space reality that we live in. So it's really important how you're designed to operate. When you're looking at numerology, astrology, Chinese astrology, science, art, all these different things, they all have a particular place. And one of the most important things I discovered in numerology is it's not just the number. I had so many clients say to me, I'm a number 3. What does that mean? And I'd look at them and I'd just shake my head and said, you're not a number 3. You're a human being. I used to say this 30, 40 years ago. You're a human being, not a number. That number is information about you depending on where that number is located. And I'd use the example of, if I gave you the number of the house that I live, I'll give you an example of a place I used to live in Australia, 38. Now, does that mean I was a 38? No, it was an address, 38, but it has no meaning until I give you the location, the street, the suburb, the city, the country, then it's precise information. 38 Oxley Station Road, Oxley, Brisbane, Australia. Boom, you can find me from anywhere in the world. Well, you can't because I'm not there. But you could in that time. So human design, what's its location? It's the design of human beings. It's your design as a human being. And you're designed to operate in the physical world in a very particular way. So if you operate in the physical world in a very particular way, what does that mean? It describes how you move through the world, one decision at a time. And you do that in your own unique and individual way. No one does that like you. But you have a particular design, which means you move through the world in a very particular way as a human being. And that movement is one decision at a time. One decision at a time. That's the movement. It's not about walking back and forward in your house, pacing up and down, worrying about things, going for a run, to get some exercise. The movement is of your energy and your form. It moves from decisions. You You can choose to start a business. You can choose to be in a relationship. But until you decide, I'm going to do this business and get about doing it, until you decide, I'm moving into this relationship and get about doing it, until you decide to meditate rather than just have the choice to meditate. But when you decide to meditate, when you decide to negotiate, rather than, I've got the choice of negotiating with these people, or we could go to war. Two choices. Which is the right decision? I could forgive this person or hate them for the rest of my life. Or maybe there's other choices. I could ask for support, for mentoring, for a third party. Many, many choices, but at a certain point you've got to decide which one you're going to go with. And that's what you move into next. So I have a lot of friends and a lot of clients who are very into alternative things, and many of them have been in for decades. Real cutting edge people in terms of consciousness, in metaphysics, in spirituality. I also have clients and friends who are incredibly into business, know a little bit about that stuff or not, or don't care at all about it, but do incredible things in their business. I have people whose most incredible thing is the way they live in their relationship, the way they treat their partner, their children, or the difference that they make in their community. And the moment human design gets put on the shelf as it's one of these, new age things. It's one of these alternative things. Oh, it's great for business. I cringe, because human design is about how you move through the world as a human being, how you live your life as a human being, one decision at a time, because that's where the real movement happens. Now, I get lots of questions from people. Well, how does that relate to the law of attraction? How does that relate to spirituality? Oh, human design has nothing to do with spirituality. It's all mechanical. Oh, there is no choice. Many people in human design believe that. I don't. I just frankly don't. There is choice. But then when you manifest a choice, you have to go through making a decision to manifest that choice. And the one thing that's really important is that if you don't understand the forces that are at work in being a human being and in the world that we live in, and if you don't understand the importance of making that decision and know how to do it really accurately so that you get the energy and the timing right, then you're going to have a hell of a struggle in life, banging in, making mistakes you don't have to make. Look, mistakes are a part of life. I've got no problem. I've done tons of them, but making mistakes you don't have to make, going to war when you don't have to because of lack of imagination, lack of awareness of the difference between you and another person and how to relate to that other person who's so different than you. We have spent tens of thousands of years making decisions with our minds, and that was absolutely appropriate until 230 years ago. And then we outgrew it. We were designed to make decisions with our mind. We grew and evolved because of that. But out of that growth and evolution, we outgrew that limited form of decision making. And I say that really honestly. Making decisions with your mind is an extremely limited way to do things. It creates incredible struggle and difficulty as well as progress. When it comes to making decisions in the physical world of time and space, in your real life. And human design offers you a clear alternative that you can test in your business, in your relationships, in your real life, in your sport, in your health. You can test it to see whether it moves you into a better path, not whether it gets you what you think you want, because it will not give you. If you think human design is going to get you what you think you want, well, I'll tell you straight up front, it won't. If it does, and when it does, it's because those thoughts, imaginations, dreams, visions, choices have waited until the timing was right and the energy was right, and then it happened. Then you did it. In other words, you made the right decision. You weren't driven by your mind to do it out of anxiety or even ambition, but you waited till the timing was right. And then you get to experience the elegant manifestation of what you want in your life. And at the same time, moving through the world in the way that human design says opens up possibilities you never even imagined. You were too busy thinking and chasing one dream that there was a bigger dream that you missed, just because you weren't aware and in touch with what was really happening in the real world of your real life. And so you were making choices and decisions and based on imaginations disconnected from the reality of your life, and that will never work. If they're going to work together, if your mind, your ability to imagine, to dream, to vision, to choose, to observe, to share, all that extraordinary gift that we're given as a human being, if that is going to work, it needs to work in synchronicity, in harmony. It needs to co-create with the physical body and the physical world. We've tried for thousands of years to impose our will on the environment. It doesn't work. When we synchronize with it, you create wonderful synergies and much more effective environments. As human beings, we're capable of adding so much to the environment. But when we're in harmony with it, when we add value to it, when we appreciate its needs, and then add our needs to it in a way that adds value to the environment, and the environment is then, in a sense, milked or worked with in such a sense, it gives even more of itself. It's a win-win. But we've tried the other way of the mind trying to impose, our will trying to impose on the environment, on our physical lives and our emotional lives, on our relationships, on our cultures. And yes, there's been progress, but so much collateral damage. It's just got to the point where we've got to stop doing that, because the collateral damage could create more of a problem than the solution solves. I mean, this is obvious stuff, but human design brings it right back to you as a person. The world is not going to change by some great person coming along. Great people make great contributions, but the world changes when individuals take responsibility for their life and live it fully in a responsible way, and do it elegantly by being conscious of what they're doing, by being willing to learn and grow and develop and to give. And as each individual does that, as each individual matures into that form of truly mature adult behaviour, then this world changes, and changes radically. Because then that person synchronizes not only with their family or their friends or their tribe or their culture, but they synchronize with their environment. All of that stuff becomes a part of it. And certain ones of us want to go and work on the environment. Others want to work with the tribe, and others want to work with healing, and others want to work with building, because it's in their nature. They love doing it. That's what's going to change the world, becoming more conscious. And human design gives you a very clear way of becoming highly conscious, extremely aware of not only how you make decisions, and thus you move through the world more elegantly, but once you're comfortable in that, it opens up doorways to be conscious of how you eat, where you live, how you see the world, and conscious that you have a unique awareness that only you can share, that will never be repeated. And as you consciously become awake to that and start giving it, you bring so much to the table, you add so much value to your life, that life and the people around you will respond back in a way that takes care of your needs. But you need to get to the point of taking care of your own needs first, and that is your need to make great decisions. You need to honour yourself as an individual. You need to eat and live in a way that's right for you, and to see the world with your unique perspective, and to apply your awareness, to become conscious of how to apply that awareness to the world. And then all the rest of it sorts itself out. Now, that's not all the rest of it. Again, I've got carried away by my own stuff, but it's not everything in your life, but the part to do with how you operate in the physical world, and you being aligned with your unique design. You fitting exactly where you fit. You living in a way that you experience as not only thoroughly fulfilling and enjoyable, but it overflows to other people. You operating in that way. Now, your unique relationship with the divine, your unique way of expressing your human design, right? Because you could bring out 10% of it, 20% of it, 50% of it, 90% of it, 100% of it. People have asked me, does my human design change and evolve? And yeah, over lifetimes and hundreds of years, yes, our design does change and evolve. It grows. We used to be strategic, seven-centered beings, which is a human design term, and now we're half-half. We're part strategic, part receptive, working with 9 energy centers. We're different. We live longer. We're more receptive. We don't have to struggle to survive. Life is begging to come in and help take care of us. And we've got the bodies and designs and the ability to make decisions in a way that will allow that to happen. And the information of human design says this is how you allow it. It doesn't mean you have to become part of a religion called human design or a bunch of belief systems called human design. It's just, here's the information about how you work in the physical world and how you can be yourself. And even if it doesn't tell you exactly how, and if you know enough about it, it can get very precise, but it gives you the basics things, basics done so that you can learn to do the basics really well and bring out the advanced levels of who you are. It grounds you in your physical body. It makes sense out of this gift of being alive. It's like, wow, I don't have to wait until I die. This is fantastic. The best thing I can do when I die is go, wow, wasn't that incredible? What a gift. What an incredible gift. Gratitude to wherever you believe it comes from. And I left the world a better place. I felt fulfilled, all that other stuff. Rather than the struggle and the, maybe sometime 1,000 years down the line, one of my generations will experience some fulfillment. No. This world, this universe, everything our world, us as human beings, need each other to be at our best now, to at least be going for it, at least to do the basics really well. And that's what human design is about. Whatever you're doing, no matter how spiritually evolved, materially evolved, no matter how rich or poor, on any level you are, human design will add value by fine-tuning the way you make decisions in a way that's totally appropriate to this time, because we're now ready to make decisions in a new way. We're now ready to move through the world in a new way. And all these changes, all this talk about a new world, and it's true. And it's not just a better version of the old world, it is new. But a fundamental part of doing that, a basic part of doing that, is making decisions with your authority, the authority within you, and knowing how to know when you have a decision to make so you can exercise that authority correctly in a way that's elegant and works for you. It doesn't matter what your religion's beliefs, philosophies, whether you're just totally into the material world or incredibly into the spiritual world or anything in between. And I'm having a finger in all of those worlds. And I'm learning to enjoy every single one of them. And human design has been one of the most important pieces of information and input and learning that I've had in my whole life for living in the real world as a real human being, rather than someone who's just waiting to get out of here or wishing it was different. Well, this has given me the ability to make a difference in my life, which makes a difference in the life of the people around me, which can make a difference to the world. So maybe that's helped you get some sort of understanding of what human design is really about and why it's worth looking into and investigating. Because if you're ready for this, if this is aligned, if the energy and the timing is right for you to do this, then check it out. And if I can help you, it's one of my great passions to do that. It's one of the great pleasures I get out of life is doing that. And human design is one of the greatest tools. It's even more than a tool. It's real information based on real energy that can open you up to your true potential and make you far more conscious of how incredible it is to be a human being. And do that in every moment of your living life, of your daily life, in the most mundane parts of your life. So hopefully that's been a help, and if you want to know more, get in contact with me. It would be my pleasure to help you understand this further. Bye-bye.